Hello, my name is Emily and today I'm going to talk to you about the whole of conservatism. This is in paper 1 of EdExcel's A-level politics. I don't know about other exam boards, I'm very sorry. I'm going to be covering as much as I possibly can in a short amount of time as I possibly can. Also, lots of people have been sending in requests. Yes, I will be doing one of these for socialism, which is the other core ism, essentially. And I will also be doing one of these for nationalism. We just haven't learnt about those two yet. And hopefully I'll get some US ones out as soon as I can. Right. Let's see. So we're going to start with conservatives' view of human nature. So they believe that humans can't be changed. They believe in moral imperfection, disagreements on religion and morality and authority, but they're security seeking, selfish and greedy, generally pessimistic about humans. So therefore their view on economy, state and society is generally things like paternalism, nanny state, avuncular states, noblesse oblige, Burke's little platoons, Thatcher and atomism, organic society, trickle-down economics. Loads of different things there, and that's mainly because of New Right stuff. So tradition, why do they believe in tradition? Well, it's for a sense of rootedness, a common identity, to promote order, the fact that it's tried and tested, it strengthens social integration, and there is a dialogue between past and present. They also believe in authority and order. So neoliberals believe in natural order and decentralisation, whereas neoconservatives believe in unquestioning obedience, order and hierarchy, and paternalists are sort of a middle ground and put authority before liberty. So one nationism. One nationism is all about organicism, paternalism, higher taxation, higher public spending and greater state intervention. The New Right is split into two parts. The first is neoconservative. These are things like a strong state, authoritarian. I couldn't read my writing, sorry. Lack of authority leads to crime, a return to traditional family values. And neoliberal is sort of about privatisation, state restricting freedom, no welfare state creates dependency, and free markets. And we're going to get onto that now in a bit more detail. So now we're going to look at neoliberal conservatives versus neoconservatives. So neoliberals believe in classical liberalism, atomism, radicalism, libertarianism, economic dynamicism, self-interest or enterprise, equality of opportunity, minimal state, internationalism and pro-globalisation, whereas neoconservatives believe in traditional conservatism, organicism, traditionalism, authoritarianism, social order, traditional values, natural hierarchy, strong state, insular nationalism, and anti-globalisation. If you're wondering why that took me so long to read, it's because I made these with like sticky notes that you flip up, and just on the front there I've got some the letters of each of the words to help me out a bit. So now let's talk about paternalist versus libertarian conservatives. So paternalists believe in pragmatism, traditionalism, social duty, organic society, hierarchy, social responsibility, natural order, middleway economics and qualified welfarism, and libertarians believe in principle, radicalism, egoism, atomistic individualism, I can't read today, meritocracy, individual responsibility, market order, laissez-faire economics, and anti-welfarism. So now you need to know about your 5 key thinkers for conservatism. So these are in hopefully some kind of order: Hobbes, Burke, Oakeshott, Rand and Nozick. Okay, so Hobbes believed in government by consent and state of nature, and that later turned into social contract theory. He believes that there are no natural rights, as prior to the state there was no voluntary arrangements between people. He believed that life before governments and stuff was solitary, poor, nasty and brutish. He believed that natural chaos stemmed from a lack of authority, but he did believe that humans were not wholly irrational, so we would agree to a contract. Burke was a Whig MP who was pro the American Revolution but against the French Revolution. He believed in human imperfection because it's based on a utopia. Organicism, he believed that ruling class was inevitable, and his little platoons theory of society. Oakeshott had a book called On Being Conservative, which was released in 1962, which basically was talking about human imperfection, not necessarily meaning being pessimistic about humans. He said we are fallible, not terrible, and imperfect, but not immoral. He said that normative politics has simplistic visions, and that the state prevents bad rather than creating good. So Rand is one of the USA's most brilliant, arguably, new right thinkers. She came out with a book called Atlas Shrugged in 1957, which basically said that individuals were at the heart of society, and The Virtue of Selfishness in 1964 was all about objectivism and self-fulfillment. She's also a big believer in atomism. She is a libertarian, so she believes in free markets and the right to choose. So she was against gay rights, but pro the right to choose to get married and stuff. But was against anarchism and believed that order and security were only be provided by the state. Last one, Nozick. Now this was included in liberalism. That's because some of these key thinkers sort of switched between the two. Nozick is another libertarian. He believes in a night watchman state. He challenged rules and had a book called Anarchy, State and Utopia, which came out in 1974. Now we're going to look at some of the key arguments regarding conservatism. So first up, is conservatism a ruling class ideology, and are they defenders of privilege? Whew. So arguments 4 is that they have a stress on authority and tradition, piecemeal change, preventing radical changes. It keeps existing order, which suits conservatives. Paternalism is merely an attempt to make inequality and elitism palatable to the majority. Traditional conservatives defend elite privilege, and socialist and liberal critics certainly think conservatism is a ruling class ideology. But against it, the appeal to order is aimed at benefiting all sections of society. Support for authority and tradition comes from all sections of society. Paternalists argue they are promoting the interests of the poor, and libertarians believe that bottom-up authority has potential to shake up existing order through meritocratic reward distribution. So next one, is conservatism compatible with capitalism? Yes, because capitalism is based on private property. It generates inequality, which can be seen as natural and organic. Capitalism is now the norm, so it can be supported on grounds of tradition because it's tried and tested. Capitalism generates wealth, which paternalists can use to look after the poor, and libertarians see capitalism as extending individual freedom. On the other hand, not all the economic liberal versions of it focus on individuals rather than communities. Capitalism relies on rationality, which conservatives reject. It creates inequality, which threatens the order and stability and organic society. It tends towards global markets and undermines national identity and interests, and it promotes meritocracy and challenges the interests of the ruling class and existing order. So, is conservatism merely the politics of pragmatism? Well, on one hand, Burke, who was termed the father of conservatism, made an attack on the French Revolution, an attack on the abstract philosophy, claiming that it ignored human imperfection. Traditional conservatives consistently advocated an empirical approach to politics based on what is, not what should be. That's hard to say. Traditional conservatives pride itself on flexibility, and this helps conservatives endure several centuries of dramatic change. Peel supported laissez-faire capitalism, and a century later Macmillan backed a more Keynesian approach. And Oakeshott therefore argued that conservatism is a short-term getting-by approach to politics. Unlike liberalism and socialism, it has no long-term objectives concerning socialism. No, not socialism, society and the economy. This is why I don't write in shorthand very often. On the other hand, traditional conservatism is based on philosophically contentious assertions, e.g. slow change is preferable to radical change, and vision and principle are inferior to tradition and evidence. Traditional conservatism doesn't reject revolution as a method of change. It does so to protect a society based on certain principles, so hierarchy, equality and private property, things like that. Socialists therefore see conservatives as a ruling class ideology. Oakeshott described traditional conservatism as a psychology rather than an ideology, drawing upon humanity's love of the familiar. Conservatives therefore may reject pragmatic change if it conflicts with their interests. The New Right draws upon Hayek and Nozick, and the New Right politicians like Thatcher proclaimed themselves as conviction politicians. And finally, last one. Is the New Right internally contradictory? So generally, yes, there are a lot of things that are contradictory about the New Right, as proved by us going over neoliberals and neoconservatives. But generally, neoliberals want to roll back the state, whereas neoconservatives want state intervention. Neoliberals want to advance individual liberty, whereas neoconservatives are prepared to restrict individual liberty. Neoliberals are relaxed about immigration, whereas neoconservatives are more wary about it. And neoliberals want minimum government spending, whereas neoconservatives want increased government spending to strengthen the nation. So generally, yes. Done. Well done, everyone, if you got this far. I wish you all good luck with your revision, and if you have any requests, then leave them down in the comments.